All righty then, as Matthew McConaughey would say, what does he say? All right, all right, all right, I guess. Um, Welcome, Diana, to the Leaders Who Care series.
Thank you, Mark. Great to be here.
Well,
Mm.
I already know you deserve to be here, but we're going to prove it. Like, what's that? Is it Kansas? Which is the show me state? Missouri?
Missouri, Missouri.
All right, we'll show them. I mean, we don't have to prove it, but we'll prove it anyway. So, no, it's great to have you here. It's great to be getting to know you a little bit. And so let's have everybody start getting to know you and start by briefly introducing yourself, not what you do and this and that in business, but who are you? Like, where are you from originally? Where are you now? If anything you feel comfortable sharing about family, something you've never told anybody and you want to tell the world about it now, that's always fun. I get some good ones on that one. So who's Diana?
All right. Well, this is fun. I am originally from Pennsylvania. So I was born in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Billy Joel has a song, living here in Allentown.
I love that song.
I grew up near Williamsport, which is the home of the Little League World Series. So if you're a baseball fan, that's familiar. Um,
Toronto Blue Jays and the Dodgers are in World Series, and I'm a
yes.
winner all the way because if they win in Canada, I'm Canadian and I live in LA. So I'm
Right.
good.
So you're good. You're good. So yeah, so grew up in Pennsylvania, spent a lot of time with family. When I grew up, I don't think we had a computer until my senior year in high school. So we were outside. We were with family. Basketball was a sport that was really important to me. And I graduated from high school a year early because I wanted to go play basketball in college.
Wow.
And did that within Pennsylvania as well. And then when I finished my degree in college, I was going to go to Temple for a grad assistantship in sports information. And that fell through at the last minute. So I ended up in West Palm Beach, Florida with an internship for sports information and thus made my leap from Pennsylvania to Florida. And I was in Palm Beach for 4 years and now I've been in the Daytona Beach area since then. So I'm a Floridian now, I suppose. But I am also a mom. I have two boys, two teenagers, and a husband, and lots of a dog, and lots of cats. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. Did you say two daughters?
Two boys,
Two
two
boys.
boys.
Okay. So I got three boys. I wasn't looking to win that contest, but I got three boys. And it goes fast, does it not?
It
Uh,
does. It does.
they tell us that all the time and we understand it, but it's like amazing how fast it does go. And what's the dog's name?
Bella is the dog's name.
Oh, we had a Doberman named Jasmine Bell. Um,
Ah,
and after Beauty and the Beast or something, whenever it was. I don't know.
okay.
And the cats get along with the dog?
They do. Bella is a Chihuahua, so she thinks she's larger than the cats, but in reality, she is. She's the small one.
Huh. Yeah, we had two Dobermans and two miniature pinchers, and the miniature pinchers are like Chihuahuas a little bit, and they would do the initial barking, and then the big Dobermans would come behind when they thought something was wrong. And
The
so,
army comes together.
exactly. Well, that's pretty cool. So you started talking a little bit about what you liked in basketball. What were you like as a kid in general, and then going into a teenager? Was it sports? Was it movies? Was it playing with dolls, or was it tomboy? What were you like?
As a kid, we were outside a lot. My dad always had us outside on Saturday morning helping with, he would plant thousands of strawberry plants or sweet corn or that type of thing. So I learned a lot working outside. Can't say I loved it, but it was a lot of learning about hard work. Also spent time at my grandparents' house. They lived on a big farm, so we would do things with them and our cousins. So a lot of interaction with family. I didn't start to play basketball until high school. At that area in Pennsylvania, youth sports wasn't really a thing. So you didn't really start to play sports until you were in seventh grade, starting into that high school scenario. I'm a middle child, so I naturally was often the peacemaker, the one wanting everybody to get along, whether it was at home or family, just, like to please people, care a lot about people. So that is an interesting dynamic to watch as I get older. I still in my career career. I always am the one with the passion around people. I'm not the task person, but I am the people person.
You like telling everybody what to do.
That is I used to be called the supervisor by my grandmother, and we were cleaning up the kitchen on Sundays. I was the supervisor. So,
No, well, somebody's got to do it.
right, yes.
I mean, geez. I mean, you mentioned that I guess you got your bachelor's at Messiah University, right? And then you got your MBA at Palm Beach Atlantic. Um,
Yes.
I also lived in Florida for 22 plus years, so I've got my taste of Florida as well, and a lot of friends there. And what were you envisioning for yourself back then?
Well, when I picked the degree of exercise science at Messiah, my thought was I would end up as a college athletic director.
Hmm.
So, thus the sports information, next step as an internship made sense to me. But then, and the MBA was kind of tied to just having that business leadership experience and credentialing there. But when I moved to Daytona Beach, there wasn't really an opportunity within that career path. I interviewed a few times, didn't work out. So I shifted. And so I have had multiple different roles across my career. And I always use that story to help encourage students that don't know what they want to do and what they want to go to college for, just so you keep learning and you do things, your skills apply regardless of what you do over the years. You can start out one way and end up over here, right? Your skills can transfer as long as you're a continuous learner and always looking for ways to lead and to grow.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think the world's gone that route to a great degree. There's no one really having 50-year careers at a company anymore. They not only have multiple companies, they have multiple positions, multiple scenarios, multiple everything, which sounds so much better, doesn't it? I mean, why wouldn't you want, I know you're not allowed to say diversity, but we'll whisper it. Why wouldn't you want diversity in
Right.
experiences, which are then
Hmm.
great for so many other reasons? I love that. Our firm was founded on the basis of talent, leadership, and impact, and making money and making impact at the same time, not having to choose. And we trademarked the term "leaders who care" because we understand that every single person has value, and their well-being, financial, physical, and mental, are really important. As comfortable as you can be, how did you come to value yourself and be motivated from the personal struggles that you've had?
I mean, in my upbringing, I had a lot of, great influential people growing up. My grandmother, parents, coaches, family, faith, like all helping me to understand the value of me and the impact. And that life's not about me, right? It's about what I can do, right, to add value and to help others. And so going along that career path of what do I want to do, right? You learn not to focus so much around what job I have or what career ladder I'm chasing, but instead, where am I adding the most value? Where where are my gifts like shining through? Because I don't want to have to go to work, right? I want to get to work. And so if you're playing in a role where you're most suited, it everything comes together so much better than if you feel like you just have to be there and you're drained versus exciting to be doing what you're doing every day.
Yeah, you know, I think everybody should have the opportunity to at least have some purpose and some passion, where even if they're working, with all due respect to plumbing supply companies, a plumbing supply company, and it's up to leaders to actually help bring that to the table. This is an expression I've used a long time, is be more interested in other people rather than interesting about yourself.
Yeah.
And it does come back to you even more than if you're being just more interesting about yourself. So yeah, the way to go with that. You talking about basketball. I learned so much in sports and stuff, playing and coaching, mostly hockey on and off the ice, and how to how to win championships, how to learn how to lose to get to that point.
Mhm.
And I love how you talk about embracing imperfection and how it's a strength. As a guy, we even talk about girls that way. The perfect looking girl is probably not the perfect girl, actually. It's the
Right.
character and the look and the whatnot that makes a person even more beautiful and more perfect and so on. But share with me, like, you were a single mom. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. You were a single mom, executive, a cancer thriver, which I love. And how did you embrace and achieve as a leader, and now be able to share that both in business and speaking and just even family and so on?
Yeah, so I was a single parent probably about 6 months before I got my cancer diagnosis. So and also an executive at the same time. So I'm juggling two small boys. I said they're teenagers today, right? They they were little then, because this was 2014. So they were like 2.5 and 4. Um, a lot to juggle and balance. But yet it taught me, reminded me actually, maybe not taught me, you know things, right? But you don't have to live them out frequently, that I needed to be willing to ask for help and allow others to help me. That's really important. I also always need to be leading myself first before I can go lead others. And at times, the parenting balance of that, parenting is the most humbling job I've ever had, right? Like that will challenge you more than anything. And particularly during those young years when you're single parent, they're watching you go through cancer and wondering what's happening, and you're juggling different things as an executive, you really have to focus on what your top priorities are. I can't say I always did it well, right? I can look back and go, oh, but I think the piece around, I think you touched on the embracing our imperfections, right? The piece that I've learned is I know I'm not perfect. And so the quicker I acknowledge that I've messed up and I've made a mistake, whether it's to my children or it's to the people I'm leading, they know I messed up. So if I'm real about it, then that is a way of me to lead and show, okay, I did mess up on this. This is what I need to do differently the next time. What else do you see, right? How else can we do this together? Because our imperfections are kind of an element of failure. And if we, it could be an element of failure, right? So how do we learn from it? How do we respond to it? And that's really how well we like lead and provide, guidance for others, whether it's our kids or the people around us.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I don't know if when we chatted previously, I don't know if I mentioned about that Nigerian girl that learned how to play chess, and she learned and she got better and she learned and she got better. And make a long story short, she got really better, and then she got recognized nationally in Nigeria, and then internationally. And then somebody asked her, "What does it feel like losing?" And she said, "I've never lost." And they
Mm,
said, "Well, of course you lost because you win some, you lose some." And she says, "No, I win and I learn. I never
yes.
lose." And it may sound like words and words do matter, but the words do matter because in her mind, that's what was happening too. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I love that how you spoke to that, spoke to that as well. And I interviewed an executive, gosh, it must be a year and a half ago now that I always remember. He said, "Mark, I'm having the best time ever and the most effective time ever being a CEO. I can actually be emotional. I can be vulnerable. I don't have to pretend to know everything anymore. And the leaders around me are popping up. They're doing great. You can probably relate to that."
Absolutely, because there's many times leaders don't want to hire people better than them. But
That's
in
that's
reality,
insecure leaders.
right. And then we're limited. Like we're limited by the capacity of the people around us. And we're also not allowing our team to grow. And I want people around me that are better than me because they can help me. I have a literal blind spot, but I have also very many like intellectual blind spots, right? So if we pull people around us that are better than us in different areas, it really helps to complement the whole team and to help make everybody better and raise the bar.
Yeah, and it's funny how insecurity can make you hire less capable associates, assistant coaches, which can make you not win a championship, which you lose big time, and so on. I've heard so many coaches, including Pat Riley, say the best legacy is all the assistant coaches becoming head coaches and winning championships. So you've written, speaking of imperfection, you've written a book called, and I love it, Uniquely Imperfect, Uniquely Qualified. And the first time I saw that title, I said, well, yeah, because I know certain companies that hire people with autism, and I know certain companies that hire different people. and they found out that they bring a whole thing, a new thing to the table, and then they receive a thing that they didn't have to their table by other people. Can you share any experiences, people, inflection points maybe that stand out for you, that were and still significant in your life and in sharing your message?
I can't. I have to think through how to narrow down that list, but no.
All right. Well, it's not.
I,
It's a short video, but it's also not a feature film, so we can go
Right, yeah,
somewhere
no,
in the
no,
middle.
I know, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. I think it's interesting to think through just that, like that title alone. Many times we limit ourselves by something that is an imperfection or a failure or a disability, when in fact that same item, if we can leverage it, can uniquely qualify us to add value to people that have that like similar adversity or disability. And so the title was very important to me, but to get to the title, right, I had to be willing to be really transparent about and authentic about sharing my story and my cancer journey and how we get there. And so my grandmother was a very impactful person in my life. She taught me always to smile, always to look for the best in people, and to keep faith as a part of, who I am. I also, referenced in the book as well my high school basketball coach because I can think through many times in my career I've shown up to consult or to train at an organization, and I can tell quickly who's never played a team sport. And so then I have to send them a note and say thank you. But like with that teamwork aspect, like as a high schooler, learned so many valuable things around communication and going to the person versus, talking about the person, being accountable and responsible for me and for showing up, and that mental resilience, right? We get knocked down when we're in the court, and what we do, right? Do we get back up and keep going, or do we let us take it down? Those lessons like carry throughout your whole life if you learn them, right? If you don't learn them, then you're missed out, because there's so many things, right, that come from those experiences. I already mentioned my children, right? I learn a lot from them because I'm not perfect as a parent, so
Welcome to
we
the
we
club.
learn we learn from them, right? But those are a few. I kept it to a small amount. How is that?
No, it's so true. And you know, when you talk about sports, I've so many men especially, and women now starting more, but men because they've been who they are defined by certain things,
Yeah.
especially work. But they would tell me like when I was 9 or 10, the coach put me out put me out on the most important part of the game, and half the time they don't even remember if they won't even tell me if they scored or not. They just keep telling me the coach put me out with 1 minute left in the game, and it was tied and it was important and everything. And some of them will literally tell me that that's their whole foundation for their confidence. That one time, and you've heard this saying before, all it takes is one person to believe in you.
Yes.
And and I always remember teachers telling us, "You're the best class we've ever had." And I knew logically, come on, you tell that to everybody. And yet, I still took it to be the truth.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah.
It does make a difference. Um, Tell us a little bit what when you said you in the book, I guess you referred to those examples you're talking about. What else do you share in there? Don't give it all away. We want people to buy it, but
Yeah.
start with.
I felt led to just share about lessons along my cancer journey. So I'm close to 12 years from when I was first diagnosed with a rare form of cancer near my left eye. For 9 of those years, we saved the eye, but I still had multiple surgeries and things like that along the journey. But what I think a lot of people don't realize what it's like to be on a cancer journey. It's not a one-time event. Like it is with you. And we all get to choose when we go through an adversity how we're going to respond to it. We don't have to be a victim to it. We can navigate differently through it. And I had my moment at the beginning going, okay, why me? Right? I'm a single mom. I have all this. But then I was like, okay, but why me? Like, why do I get to go see these doctors in Miami that get flown around the world to operate on important people? Why do I get to go see them? Maybe I'm there to help them just as much as they're there to help me. And you just learn. I just can look back on that journey of so many people I've met, doctors, nurses that have just been so impactful to me. But I've also been impactful to them because it's a two-way street. They're people too. And so it was important to me just to share different stories along the journey as well as lessons on the journey. And each chapter closes with a reflection of mine, like, okay, what did I learn in this moment? And then an application, because I want the person reading it not just to read Diana's story, but what did this spark in you? Like, what are moments that you're missing out to go thank somebody or to go help somebody? Like, I want to challenge them too as they're reading because hopefully they learn from the lessons I've learned and they don't have to go down the cancer path to learn some of the lessons I've been blessed to learn.
No, that's beautiful. It's actually really, really touching. And to even say that they're humans too, you know, they're going through it too in their own way by everybody that they're trying to help, right? And the nurses that give comfort and all the stuff there. And who knows how much that helped them with the next patient because of that. So thanks a lot for sharing that. That's really, really special. Wow, got me on that one. That was good. Um,
I also just a note too, I have a lot of pictures in the book too, because most people have no idea what a proton radiation machine looks like or, different things like that. So I just felt like I'm going to be real and authentic, and this is what it looks like, right? And hopefully that helps people to know what it's like to be on the other side.
well, we all, you talked earlier in the thing about being able to ask people for help. And I even remember, not as serious as cancer, but I remember getting divorced, and it was the first time I asked people for help, and I was amazed how many people helped.
Yes. Yep.
So, because we try to do it ourselves, as guys, we're taught do it yourself and all this stuff. There's no crying in baseball or
Right.
whatever.
That
Um,
was in the girls. That was when the girls were playing baseball,
I
but
know
yeah.
Major League Baseball. It's the first thing that came to mind. Or you can't eat quiche. Real men don't eat quiche. I love
Yeah.
quiche.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
all this ridiculousness. They say that the fourth industrial revolution is about AI and tech, and they're pretty right. But they're also saying the fifth is about humanity, which really fits into a lot what you're saying. So now, as you mentioned, you're married, you're a mom, you're a volunteer, the whole bit. Talk to us about how you see the present challenges and at the same time the future opportunities for leaders to be it's a real different type of leader in a large way that's coming up and really being uniquely imperfect if I could steal that and achieve success at the same time in the many ways that success is defined because there's a lot of different ways it is. Um, Thoughts on that?
It's a loaded question. So
You think you're going to get easy
it's
questions all the time?
yeah, no, right. No, it's just because I'm somebody that there's lots of good uses of AI. There's lots of poor uses of AI. It's not the answer for everything. When it comes to relationships and building trust with people, it's absolutely not the answer. Um, and I think with the play of technology, whether it's AI, social media, all these different platforms, the importance of a personal connection is so much higher than what it used to be. And I think it gets missed sometimes. And it's just so critical to focus on the people and the aspect, and then also for the leader to be real and authentic. Because I suppose I've tried it, right? I can go to AI and it can doctor up my picture and it can give me two eyes. I could do that and I could use that as a way to communicate, but that's not real. That's not who I am. I do not have two eyes anymore. Just as one example, right? And I think that's where, in order for people to really trust a leader, the more transparent and real we are, even though we could be really fake, right? And let AI write our communication or let AI write our speech or let AI doctor our photo. We need to be real. And we need to show our people how to be real. We don't need to be like everybody else. And that's just my passion is that we just need to be real and authentic and ignore what everybody else is doing. We need to be the people that we were meant to be and use the skills that we were meant to use.
Yeah, that's so profound actually. And you know, one thing that happens in sports, and it clearly happens in business too, with let's say a player makes a mistake and the coach brings him to the side or her to the side and clearly and respectfully tells them all the wrong things they did out there and does it in a way that they're caring about it and but they're also accountable for it and then puts them back on the ice or on the field or back in the game at the office or whatnot. What I have found, and I'm sure I'm right, I don't say that very often, but um, that the loyalty and the ROI of that person will be infinite, basically. That person, no matter how much they're making on a contract or what their position is in a company, the fact that the coach or boss or whatnot spoke to them directly that way and then put them back on will get the loyalty and performance and everything versus firing them or benching them forever or whatnot and then have to bring another person in and that costs so much more. So that's what I think about when you talked about that.
No, and you're hitting on too, like having like direct conversations with people, because so many times it's like ignored. They're talked about instead of with, right? And people can't make progress if we don't talk with them about the topic and then believe in them and give them another chance. Like we're missing out.
And when you had the two little kids, um, you realize that even as little kids, they're probably stronger than we thought they were. And
Yes.
if you kind of they're not adults, but if you talk to them in a certain way, they really not only believe but are thankful for talk to us straight.
Hmm. Yes, no, I can remember. I would often I'm with a lot of kids right now because I'm have a interim role at a school that I'm working through. And I when you talk to a child, I learned, kneel to their level, like look at them eye to eye, because that's what we would do in business, right? We're looking at each other eye to eye. We work to have that direct eye conversation. And when we're always talking down to a kid, it's really hard for them to connect to us and see that they care, right? We put an automatic like blocker in between us of the distance between our eyes.
Yeah, it's a great point. Absolutely understand that. Lovely. Well, in LA, we say that we have to leave them wanting more so we can do a sequel. So we may have to do that. But I have one more question for now. Um, a client told me in 2021 about COVID. He said it was the year that flew by slowly. And I always thought that was an amazing line.
Yeah.
I also find it amazing that so many people feel like COVID was yesterday and years ago at the same time. It feels like a big piece of period or something. And with all that said, it's already the end of 2025. Speaking of things moving fast, what are you most grateful for, and what are you most hopeful for?
I'm grateful to be here, right? So when you're navigating the journey, it's always good to be grateful every day, right? That you're here and that you've got the opportunity to be with family and friends and impact lives. That is important to me. And my hope is that I get the chance to just continue to inspire people to move forward and not to be stuck because of their adversity or what's hit them, but to move forward and embrace the imperfections and learn and share it with others.
Yeah, well,
How,
yeah, go ahead, please.
but I just want to say too that 2020 and 2021 were years that did not, I don't know that I agree with flew by slowly. It was a crazy time for me from my career perspective, but I'm grateful that it's over. But
Well, then we'll just go with the flew by then, hopefully, but it didn't really
right.
fly by. Yeah, it's all perspective.
Yeah.
And perspective changes as time goes by. We were joking the other day, some guys saying, the older we get, the faster we used to run, and who's going to check, right? Um, it's like a fish story going fishing.
That's right. That's right. That's
So,
right.
um, so I'm grateful that I have a new friend, hopefully, and that you are a leader who cares, and that's what I'm hopeful for, too. That you're doing great work and making a difference out there. So the future looks brighter, and more people need to kneel down and look at kids face to face because kids are amazing and they're the future and so much to offer. So thanks for being a Leaders Who Care, and thanks for being on the series.
Thank you, Mark. I love the topic leaders who care, and I'm honored to be here with you.
It's our privilege, our pleasure. Thanks.